line is faint, though.
They were working it, but just go ahead if you did hear.
Yeah, you're talking about a deadline of 60 days for the disarmament of the... Yeah, at this stage, it is premature to give deadlines, given the kind of humongous problems that we've had caused by the last time I was listening to the governor of Bauchi State on the BBC when they asked him about the insurgency, the Boko Haram, and all the other issues in northern Nigeria. He clearly alluded to the fact that politicians had played a very significant role in that. Some of them had used youth, armed them, and it is about time to appeal to those youth to lay down their arms. So if you look at the assassinations, basically predominantly politicians. If you look at those that were indicted earlier on, the senators that are from Borno State, the Ndume, and the Bukaris and Zandas and all the people, and the names that were mentioned, like Ali Modi Sharif and all that, and even the statement that was accredited to the late National Security Advisor, late Azazi, it all shows that there is a lot of political involvement in this issue. So if the government is now has this strong political will to identify those politicians, and begin to address the insurgency issue along the line, it will help. But most importantly, there is a mixture of politics and Islam and religion, because some of these youths that were recruited to suspect whatever action that they did were given promises that they were going to implement Sharia. And this is where the other element of Al-Qaeda and all these other ones, the internationalization of the issue had come in. And this is this area that will prove an Achilles heel to this particular committee. And it will then invariably require higher minds, higher scholars to appeal to them that the Islam that they are propagating is not the Islam of war. It is the Islam of peace. So it's along the line His Eminence Sultan of Sokoto and all this are saying, first of all, we need to have a peace agenda, some kind of like an amnesty program, even though a lot of people that have been aggrieved find it very difficult to accept that proposition. But, what do we have on the table now?
What do you see that the committee is going to come up with? I mean, first of all, this is not for disarmament. The 60 days that Chamberlain was talking about wasn't for the disarmament. It's for the committee to come up with certain recommendations that could be used in the process of disarmament and granting amnesty. What do you see could come out in the 60 days from the committee?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't even need 60 days. 60 days is too long a period of time because lives will be lost within this period of time. We need to have a program a very robust program where these issues are on hand. And this is why I mentioned the statement accredited to the governor of Bauchi State by the BBC's interview. They already have the facts on the table. And the aggrieved Boko Haram sect members are saying that a lot of our family members were illegally arrested and jailed. So if you can release them, they would begin to have some kind of peace. These are innocent people that have nothing to do with the war on hand. So 60 days is too long, in my own opinion, because the facts very clearly are on ground, and so those facts have to be worked on.
But are there issues that you think that are out there which they should have either focused on before this committee is set up, or that this committee can also include as part of their recommendations?
The situation of acrimony here, it's first of all to lay a peace agenda, and that's why a lot of the people, including even the bishop, highly respected Kuka, Sokoto Diocese, together with the Sultan, it's not like religious issues, the political issues, and so all these people that you have had in prisons right now, the families of these aggrieved ones that you've release them. So at least the only genuine interpretation that the peace process is taking place. But you won't be talking about peace on one hand, and tomorrow you just go and then raid the JTF raids the suspects and then incarcerate them, and the Human Rights Watch, the world body, also saying that there's a lot of human rights abuses here and there. So, and the other element believe that they are fighting for Sharia, and these are people that are ready to lay their lives and detonate bombs on themselves. So, if you don't have a peace process, immediate peace process, they will continue causing this kind of happen here and there.
Yeah. Are you confident in the makeup of this particular committee?
Well, the most important thing is it's not for the government on its own to sit down and say, look, I'm appointing this committee. The so-called Boko Haram members had earlier on different occasions, even though the government may not agree that they're genuinely, they have said there are some other people that they believe are genuinely representing or are aligning to their line of thinking. And so such kind of people ought to be in that committee. I wonder whether or not the government has reached out to those people to see that, yes, we need you to be part and parcel of this committee to see that, yes, you can help in this process of peace and reconciliation.
Well, we saw a problem with that. I mean, some people came out and denied that. Subsequently, we even saw that those people, some of them declined to represent any group. They even said they have no inkling or no link whatsoever to that particular group. Did you really believe the report?
It has to be a genuine commitment by the government that, look, we don't have any other ulterior motive. And that's why in the case of the Niger Delta, even though the two issues are not one and the same, the government said, we know that there is a grievance there. We've had the environmental degradation and pollution. We've also had resource issues that have not been beneficial to the local community. But at any rate, please bring out all the arms and ammunition. And you saw it. You saw the mountain of ammunition that came out from the Niger Delta because they were sure that nobody was going to let on use that to indict them. So that's the most important thing, the most urgent statement that ought to be read out by the government, loud and clear.
But I know you've spoken about perhaps the cost of this and how it should be ended, but part of the terms of reference of this committee is the development of mechanisms to address the underlying causes of insurgency and that will help to prevent future occurrences. What do you see them coming up with in this time? Anything different from what has been said out there?
Well, it has gone beyond the rhetorics and the academics. It's, there's huge motivation, unemployment, drug abuse, and that has been out there that have created this problem that politicians use, to their advantage. There's the question of also the political process, the problem also of the fact that the judicial system, as Aloma herself has alluded to, is sort of obstinate. So wherever there is injustice that is perceived to be injustice, surely some people will take to arms. So these are the immediate issues that have to be addressed. But most importantly, while looking at this nitty-gritty, there is the overriding issue of people that are aggrieved right now. Their families are in prison, and they're afraid whether or not the amnesty issue is it's a trick out there to catch them and then to incarcerate them further. So there has to be a genuine commitment and a political will from the highest office, which is the office of the President and Commander-in-Chief, to say that, look, I don't have any other agenda apart from bringing peace and quiet to Nigeria. Lay down their arms and are not prosecute. And then from there, now you begin to see who are the genuine the issues that are concerned, the criminal issues that are concerned, and those issues that had also had some religious inclination. And then that's where you now bring in experts to begin to address this on a short-term and medium-term and long-term basis.
Are you confident that the process will work? I mean, amnesty as a concept, would it work in this particular situation?
Well, that's the best of the worst situation that you have. You don't have any other alternative at the moment. Because when there is fire, the best way to do is to bring in negotiation to put water. If there's fire and then you put petrol, then the conflagration will continue going on.
But two parties must be willing to negotiate. I mean, if the federal government has always expressed its willingness to negotiate. Has Boko Haram also expressed same?
Yeah, because there has not been a genuine effort to reach out to the real leadership. And those leadership, as I said earlier on, the politicians had called them earlier on to say that, look, come, let's form government and we're going to implement Sharia. That's where the problem started. And a lot of their followers were very happy that, yes, they were now going to have Islam and all the Sharia they say. So at the end of the day, when they formed the government, they forgot about them. So it's not that the government, the governors in the northern Nigeria, they don't know them. They know them. And that's why His Excellency Governor of Boko was saying that, look, some of these are politicians that created the problem. So they know them, they don't know them. But the point is that are these aggrieved Boko Haram sect members, are they getting the genuine message from the government side? That's the point.
Yeah, but having heard the comments attributed to some of the leaders of this religious sect saying, look, we don't need this amnesty, do you think, by the way, that after all said and done, this will work?
That's what I'm saying. You need people that they do respect, scholars that they respect, to talk to them. I want to give you an analogy to what had happened in the video clip, the popular Rambo video clip. When he came out from Vietnam,